Odell wants to be the highest paid player.
What a dumbass, dude.
Cars and they all black, got 4 bras and they all that. We call that ballin'. Doing this is my calling. Flow is so appalling. My phone.
What's up? I'm Sal.
I'm RJ. This is Dos.
And Tres. So this week we are doing a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's about Dez Bryant. And admittedly, I'm not the biggest Dez Bryant fan in the room.
Bruh. Look at this dude. Wait till you see the...
I want to tell a little story about whenever he got drafted by the Cowboys. We were together, and I really did not want them to pick him. He had issues off the field, and at the time, wide receiver wasn't their biggest need. They had a lot of defensive issues, just like they do now. So I thought there were some players that they could have picked over him that could have really improved the team in different ways. But Dez has completely exceeded expectations and has, made me eat my words, and he's a really great player. Now people are kind of disrespecting him just because he had a couple bad seasons, and they just look at the stats. They don't look at the story behind the stats, and that frustrated me. So this is why I wanted to make this video about Dez Bryant coming back in 2017.
From the jump, I love the draft pick when they drafted him, and they ended up moving up in front of the Broncos, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, they traded. I think the trade partner was with the Broncos, and I really liked the pick. And he was actually the first rookie player that I bought something of when they drafted him, which I ended up buying it, not his jersey, but his shirt at the time. I was in high school, I couldn't afford that shit at the time. I could see his passion and everything that he had for the game, but at the time he was still young, and there was things that he just didn't quite get yet. He got the opportunity that he had in front of him, but he was just still missing up. He was still young.
So like I said, with people just looking at the stats, 2014 was Dez's, that was a year that, I think he was the number 1 receiver in the league. I mean, he scored 16 touchdowns, I think it was that year. Romo looked at him, and almost every time it was a touchdown. The dude was a monster. Specifically that game against the Eagles where he just completely killed Bradley Fletcher on the same route 3 times. That was incredible. But since 2014, it's been different. In 2015, 4-12, the whole team did not, meet expectations. The quarterbacks throwing to him were first Matt Castle, then Brandon Whedon, and then Kellen Moore. So yeah, not anywhere close to Tony Romo level, which some people, that varies, and definitely not on Dak level. So, and that also varies. But still, those 2 guys were pretty solid quarterbacks compared to those 3 guys. So then in 2016, Dez, starts off good. The first game wasn't too good against the Giants, but they kind of had his number for the whole season. And, the second game picked it back up, but then he got injured and he was out. And people seem to forget that. So the 2 things that are hindering him in the last 2 seasons were injury and then his quarterback.
And entering the 2015 season, he had the contract dispute, so he wasn't there for off-season activities and stuff like that.
And then for 2016, also in that off-season, he practiced the whole off-season with Tony Romo, and then training camp, everything. And then Romo gets injured and you got to switch to Dak. So then you're getting used to a rookie quarterback. There's not the chemistry that was from 2014 that Romo and Dez almost immediately had.
The back shoulder, the hitches that you can just throw out there real quick, just that stuff like that where you can just look at each other and Yeah,
you could really tell over the season they tried to go to that back shoulder play, but they just weren't on the same page yet. Towards the end of the season, you started seeing it. I think it was the Ravens game that you really saw that, man, they went to Dez and they were clicking. And then it continued into the playoffs. Once they got the ball to Dez, they were clicking. He was unstoppable and against Green Bay. But people seem to forget all these little things that kind of hindered Dez from being, in the tops in yards, touchdowns, and things like he was in 2014. But I think in 2017, that's going to completely change. He has the whole offseason with Dak. He's not injured at the moment, which, hopefully that doesn't change either. He is definitely a top 3 receiver in this league, and he'll prove that again this year. He's not the most physically dominant person as far as, the statistics go, as in height, weight, and things, but he is the biggest receiver on the field whenever you get into scoring position. I'd take him over anybody else in the league if we're in the red zone. Mm-hmm. That's over Julio Jones, and in my opinion, also again over Mike Evans, who I think is number 2, even over Jones. So I'd take Dez 1 and then Mike Evans 2 as far as if I'm in the red zone, I'm going to them, and I'm confident in the fact that I'm going to get the touchdown in that.
And he has the stats to speak for the numbers to speak for that himself, because he has the highest touchdown conversion rate inside the 10-yard line of any non-tight end since dating all the way back to forever ago. Geez, when I mean forever ago, I mean forever ago. And he leads the league in touchdowns since he came into the league. Yeah. The only guys that are on par with that are Gronk, which you can say he's a receiver or whatever. And Odell. I'll go ahead and start off from when I knew like Dez was going to be a superstar. I was going to, I think I was a freshman or sophomore, and I went to the other side of the locker room where the varsity players were to go ask my AD something, and I had my Dez Bryant shirt on that I bought. He said, "Why are you wearing that? Why are you wearing his shirt? He ain't gonna do nothing, blah blah blah," and a bunch of other stuff. It was a Monday night game versus the Giants. Tony got hurt that game, but man, Dez had that punt return where he's running back. This is so hard to do. Some people don't realize how hard this is to do. He was running back, caught the ball on the run over his shoulder on the punt return. Like it was around like the 15, maybe about the 15-yard line, and he just smoked everybody to the house and returned it. He caught a touchdown from Kitna, a quick out, and he went, and then he caught a slant too, and he had 3 touchdowns that game. And it was like, man, like that's when you knew like he was going to be a superstar. Unfortunately, towards the end of the season, when he was returning a kick against the Colts, he injured his ankle, and that kind of kept him from winning Rookie of the Year that year, which I honestly think he still would have won Rookie of the Year. Well, let's be honest here. In my opinion, Kitna is better than Castle and the guys he was playing with in the 2015 season.
Yeah, Kitna actually showed some guts.
Yeah,
I mean,
Kitna had some balls when he was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of hindered Dez in the beginning, early parts of his career. He really showed whenever he just got the ball in his hands, which whether it was on punts, he showed flashes. I think his first touchdown was off a punt return. You know, early in his career, it was really all just about his speed because he was super fast coming out. But then he started to develop like the jump ball receiver mentality. I'll never forget against the Houston Texans in 2014. That's an unforgettable play by Dez Bryant. Oh, Jonathan Joseph was completely draped over him, and he just went through him and grabbed that ball. They really needed that catch at that time. I was watching that game with some Houston Texans fans, and let's just say I think they shit their pants. And I shit my pants too. But
won his bragging rights for the next 4 years until we play him again. Texas fans say anything, just pull up that picture.
Can't wait till next year when they play the Texans again. But anyway, going back to what I think is going to continue into this year, the chemistry is going to be developing between him and Dak. All the reports out of camp is that Dak is throwing more crisp and more clean passes than he was even last year. And the hardest worker on the field. I think it's inevitable that Dez and Dak, build that connection because Dez is a very quarterback-friendly wide receiver and one of the elite wide receivers because they can just place the ball in his vicinity and he's going to be able to get that. Whether it's in, on the sideline or over the middle because he's not afraid to put his body on the line, and he's definitely not afraid to put his body on the line whenever he's in the red zone.
That goes as far as his skill standpoint. I'll speak a little on the character. As everybody knew, as Dez, he had a little trouble going up, but like he really grew up. And one thing that a lot of fans didn't like, but I saw the whole mantra behind it, was when he didn't want to carry Roy Williams' pads. He was like, I'm not here to carry anybody's pads. I'm here to play football. Mm-hmm. And that's how every rookie should be treated in the NFL. And unfortunately, it's not. But that's one thing that's developed with Dez and his character. Is he still? I don't think he's misunderstood. It's just that haters and people don't want to understand him now. They're still look back on things in the past, but he's totally a different person, different character, different football player. But I don't think it was nothing that he ever couldn't be. He just had to bring it out of him.
Yeah.
He just had to match the passion with the going about things in your life outside of football. And the one thing that I love about Dez is with every rookie that's come in, like since then, after all that crap happened, like he's like, there's no hazing here. There's none of that here. You're going to contribute to the team. I'm going to treat you just like I would if Tony was here or Witten or now at Dak and all that stuff. I'm going to treat you the same exact way. And at the end of the day, that's what every team needs to do. These guys are here to help you win ball games. They're not here to get hazed, get tied around goalposts, or make you carry your shoulder pads and stuff like I've seen before. That stuff's stupid. As far as the 2015 season goes, when he was hurt and stuff, he wanted to come back as fast as possible. And let's be realistic here. At the time when he did come back against Seattle, I mean, the chances of them really making that push to the playoff run, it was very unlikely. He didn't have to play because that foot injury that he had, that's a very serious foot injury, especially with like Kevin Durant. I mean, he sat out almost like a whole year, was it, before he came back with that same foot injury. In my opinion, I don't think he had to play, but that's just the kind of guy Dez is, and he shouldn't even be out there playing right now, but he is because he loves the game, he loves football, and that's his life, and I absolutely love that about him. Very few people and very few NFL people that really get it. Like every single chance, every single opportunity, every game you get, every second, every catch, it's not coming back. It's gone forever. And when Dez gets that ball in his hands, that's the way he plays. It's 100 miles per hour all the time, and it's special to watch. It's fun to watch, and every time he gets the ball or every time he's on the field before the game, just hyping everybody up or getting ready, like I can feel the energy through the TV screen, and it's been an awesome. I'm so glad he's a Cowboy in the era that I'm getting to watch.
whenever Dez came out, one of the scouts said that this guy has come out of the toughest situation of any player that I've ever scouted. And that's not an excuse for some of the things that he did, but it does paint a picture for the things that he had to overcome. I'm not on the same boat where I completely got with what Dez was trying to do early in his career, because I think now he is the player that RJ is talking about. It's developed over his time in the league. He's now a veteran. This is his 8th season, and there were times where Dez just looked like a bonehead, really. And in 2014, he had some Richard Sherman moments. I think that was the turning point for him, really. And then, you know, being humbled in 2015, that was just like, that culminated everything. He really had a maturing point. 2016 really showed that, and 2017 is going to further that. I respect him as a player now, but early in his career, whenever he made some mistakes, I won't forget the Baltimore game. And the Cowboys were up, but their defense let them down, and Baltimore was coming back. But anyway, the Cowboys had the ball, and they were in scoring position, or at least to close out the game. Dez was arguing with the ref about a penalty flag that was thrown. That killed the clock and didn't give the Cowboys a chance to win the game. Those are things that he fixed and things that he worked on, and he really harnessed his passion, his energy into focusing on being the best person and best player he can be.
Coming into this season, having no injury, God willing, knock on wood, and being with Dak now, and they've said that him, Dak, and Zeke, they've even stayed after and watched film together and stuff, which is so critical for the first game of the season, which we're going to do another video on. Him being just fully healthy, fully mentally prepared with Dak, and there's a connection there. Everybody knows there has to be a connection there between your quarterback and your star wide receiver. Janoris will not lock him down game one. I guarantee you that.
I think Dez's dream is to win the Super Bowl with the Cowboys. With his leadership and how much he's changed as a person, he's definitely one of the bigger leaders in the locker room on the offensive side of the ball. I think he knows that this is going to be the year where they have a real chance, so everything's going to be left on the line, and I expect a big year from Dez. I don't want to go into a prediction because we got something coming up for that too, but Dez is definitely going to be big in the NFL stratosphere again, and you know, he'll be mentioned with names like Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, and Odell, who've kind of taken way in his spot.
We're going to see the 2014 Dez, if not better, this season. I guarantee it, 100%. Fuck the haters.
So that's pretty much it for this video. If you like what you see and you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe at Dos and Tres on YouTube. And if you want to become a super subscriber, hit the bell next to the subscribe button and you'll get notified anytime we post a new video.
Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Dos and Tres YT. Until next time, training camp is underway. Football season's back. Peace.
Okay, it's rap pack to my pulse flat. We keep it real, no false rap. I got 4 cars and they all black. Got 4 bras and they all that. We call that ballin'. Doing this is my calling. Flow is so appalling. My phone off and she calling.